And we are really, really excited because, usually we talk a lot about girls, but today we're talking about everybody, and we're going global.
Ooh, how do we get to go global?
We have a really special guest who has an awesome message.
Yes, we do. He's a little bit scary, though, would you say?
Just a touch. He's
Let's
very
take
colorful.
A look at him. Let's take a look at him. The scary guy. The scary guy is here at the Brentwood Library located in Franklin, Tennessee. And we're going to listen to what the scary guy has to say because the core values of what he has to say is pretty much what Girls on Fire believes in.
It's the same message, only it's coming out of a much more interesting mouth.
Yeah, so let's see him in action.
We are really, really happy to have the scary guy here. And we're bringing him to Nashville. First,
I've discovered that I've learned differently. I learned through watching and observing and asking questions. Now, I had no idea to what level that would take me to. I didn't know what that meant. Today, I fully understand what I can do. I'm so good at human behavior and nonverbal communication, the military and law enforcement agencies call me in to teach them how to read people full time. So now I use that along with my first 43 years of negative behavior to help people transition their lives. Hi everyone, how are you today? My name is the Scary Guy. I legally changed my name in 1998 in a court of law in Tucson, Arizona. So you can call me Scary. How I got my name was I'm an ex-tattoo artist. And in 1996, someone I do not know, I've never met to this day, ran a full-page ad in a newspaper. And it said, "Are you tired of dealing with scary guys with war paint facial tattoos?" When I read the ad in the paper that day, I slammed it down on the counter and I thought to myself, no, what am I going to do to get that guy back? Well, the first thought that came to my mind is, well, I'll jump in my hot rod Lincoln, I'll find out where that guy lives, I'll go to his house, and I'll run over his dog. Then I got to thinking about the consequences of such behavior. My luck, if I did that, I'd get caught and start on a brand new career called jail. Here's where my change came. I stepped up onto a pedestal. I declared myself a good guy. He was a bad guy. After all, he called me the name in the newspaper. Didn't even know who he was. When I was standing on my pedestal, bragging and gloating about how great I was as a human being, my life started to flash before me. And I started to realize I was a name caller, a hater. I could stereotype and categorize people at will. I masked my whole life in sarcasm and humor. I was no different than him, I just didn't use newspapers yet. With that realization, I jumped down off my pedestal, motivated out of anger. I still could care less about people. I went back to my warehouse and I told all my friends, I'm packing my bags. They said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to travel the world to help people see each other differently from the inside out. They said, how are you going to do that? I said, I haven't got a clue. I can tell you one thing, though. They said, what's that? I think I just wasted 43 years of my life running my mouth calling myself a good guy. Today we get 2,000 requests from people all over the world, 75 countries, to come and talk to them and teach them how to teach children how to change the flow of the energy that's on this planet. We've got a lot of name-calling, hate, bullying, taunting, emotional hostage-taking, violence, everywhere I go, in every country I'm in. How many of you in this room have been called rotten names before? Raise your hands if you've been called a rotten name. Now raise them up high so everybody can see each other. Good. How many people in this room have called other people rotten names before? Now raise your hands high. The truth is I got to put 2 hands up because I call myself a professional name caller. How many people in this room have physically hit another human being before? Now this would include your brothers and sisters. Raise your hands high. Yeah. Now I don't know if I'm all that safe in this room right now. I'm in a whole room full of name-calling hitters. The truth of the matter is everybody on the planet's involved in the flow of this energy in the form of words and nonverbal communication. There isn't one human being that's immune from the process as learned behavior. People are constantly taking that on. Then they learn how to react to it full time. I wish I could tell you the solution was duct tape. Wouldn't that be cool? Let's just issue everybody duct tape, and the next time you hear someone assault you, you can walk up and you have the authority to cut a strip of tape and put it right over that human being's mouth. Then it would be all over for you. I don't think so, because there's a whole nother line of people waiting behind that one to call you another name. Are you going to simply accept everything you see and hear, then become the same energy, put it back on the planet, and then call it defending yourself? And oh, by the way, you called me a name first. That justifies my rotten behavior? Mine's okay and yours isn't. I don't think so. At that exact minute in time, I just gave up my right to be me. I became that individual in a split second. For 7 days and 7 nights, don't say one negative word about another human on the planet. For 7 days, 7 nights, don't call another person a name other than their own. Even if you think the names you make up for people are funny, they're not. Now we're going to find out what you're made of. If you think you're tough, shut your mouth. That's tough. Most people think that that's about shutting your mouth and being a good human. No, that's not what it's really all about. I want you to discover what are you doing with what you're hearing and seeing in here. Are you simply taking it all on and reacting to it in the moment? Or do you have the power to understand you can choose who you are? During my very first segment that we present in schools, high schools, is we put everybody on a 16 hugs program, 16 hugs a day. 3 years ago, I was watching Discovery, and there was a bunch of scientists on the TV channel, and they were trying to determine what a human being is. What's your name?
I'm Cody.
Cody. Come on over here, Cody. Don't hurt me.
All right.
All right. Do you know what a human being is, Cody?
Basically what we are. Like
We could be humans. Okay, cool. They studied the human being a little longer, and they found out in order for the human being to go to bed on a normal emotional level, it had to have 16 hugs a day. When I heard that number, I looked in the mirror and I went just like this. Wow. I wonder how many normal people are on this planet. So I decided to test the theory out myself. I wanted to find out what it was like to go to bed normal every day. I stood over here on the sideline of my life, and I waited for my 16 hugs to come to me. I waited 6 months, didn't even get one hug. So I decided to test the theory out, what it was like to go to bed normal. I had to go out and get my 16 hugs a day. Hang on, Cody. Do not rush the topic.
Stop. Wait. Hold it right there. Scary Guy gives us a little face-to-face in the studio. And here are the results.
Okay, let's talk for a minute about words as energy. Does that make sense to you?
No, not really. No.
Okay, all right. Let me show you what that means. What would happen if you never ate any food?
You don't get enough energy, and your body's like probably will like slowly start to shut down or like eat like what energy's left, so you don't have any energy to like work anything else. Like won't have anything energy to think to.
Let me say the word again. Never.
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 Oh, then you probably die.
Okay, all right. You'd die. Okay. What organ in the body receives the energy from the food first?
The brain.
Can't trick him. So the brain is control central. It runs your whole body automatically. All you got to do is put the food in here, put some water in there, breathe some air, and everything's cool. Cool. If you didn't eat any of that stuff, you would die. What would happen if my body was laying on the ground over here and the authorities never came by and picked my dead body up and took care of it? What would happen to my body?
Well, over time, like with like like if it's left outside, like animals could like pick at it, or the weather can
Creatures are going to eat me?
well,
Little bugs are going to eat me?
Yeah, if it's left outside for a long period of
I
time.
never thought of it that way. So bugs and maggots and creatures are going to eat my...
Yeah.
So even my body
Is a
is
as a source of energy for something else.
kid's smart. So now I get to thinking in my mind, I wonder if everything we know as human beings could be energy. Now, where does light typically enter your body?
Through the skin.
Right? Where else? Can you see me?
Yes. Through your eyes.
Right. At 186,287 miles per second, light has been entering right directly through your eyes into your brain. So can you imagine how much light energy has gone directly into your brain at that speed your whole life? That's pretty interesting. Are there things you cannot see that could be energy?
Sound. That you can't see sound, but like you need sound to hear.
How fast does sound travel?
I have no idea.
Well, let's write it down here. Sound travels at, you ready for this? 767 miles per hour. Would that be safe to say that all words would be energy then?
Yes. Because it's sound and
And they're traveling at 767 miles an hour. All of the nonverbal communication, which is truly 70% of all human communication, is entering your brain through your eyes at light speed. And you know when you walk into a room when someone's happy to see you. 30% is words as energy. That's what I want to talk to you about right now, and what the human race is doing with these words that are flowing at 767 miles an hour. Okay, let's take a look at that flow. Here they are out here. Can you hear me talking to you right now?
yes,
Where do my words go when I talk to you?
through the
In your ear. Words is energy that I cannot see, traveling at 767 miles an hour, enter my ears and go directly into my brain, my word processor. Have you ever felt the energy from these words when someone would call you a rotten name or something? Could you feel the effect somewhere else in your body?
yeah.
Cody, guess what that is? That's a lot of energy that human beings are ignoring. Aha. In other words, you choose the food you put in your mouth, but nobody has taught you what's going in your ear. It doesn't belong to you. So for the sake of pictures, I'm going to put a storage tank on your head.
Okay.
But in your brain, that would be like a place in your brain, like a memory or a place that you hold this energy. You with me? Mm-hmm. Okay, and it comes, sometimes you could feel it in your stomach or you could feel it in your heart. Your heart might race from it, okay? We've been going at you now. I'm going to put a control valve here because you have to regulate how much you allow into your storage tank and when you're going to get rid of this energy, this negative energy that you've been listening to from other people at a certain point, because your tank could get full. Have you ever felt stressed before?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that question I asked before about stressed out. Okay. This psychologist, psychiatrists, they call that storage tank stress. I call it a lie. And I'll get to that in a minute.
All right.
Now, you notice your tank gets all stressed. Could you have multiple tanks?
I guess so. Like,
Sure. You could have one for managing your mom's behavior, managing her flow that comes in. You could have one for the people at school. You could have one for driving a car on the road. But for the sake of pictures, let's just use one tank. Why would I ever want to learn how to manage something I didn't create?
Because you think that it belongs to you, so you try to do something about it.
Exactly. That's the lie. What happens when your tank gets completely full, you can't handle anymore?
It basically just finally opens up and all this negativity comes out.
You got to get rid of it. So you're going to release the energy, and then let's just talk about words. Other people can release the energy through physical actions, like physical violence. You ever seen that before? Yeah. Tripping people, hitting people, intimidating people, gossip. I mean, on and on. Drinking, drugs, on and on it goes for people to feel better. What happens the minute you release this energy out of your tank that's full of pressure?
Finally explode, or...
And after that, at that very second after you release it, how do you feel?
You might feel a little guilty, but you might feel a little relieved.
Yeah, you feel relieved. You feel good. Because why? You got rid of the pressure here. You relieve some of the pressure. It feels a little bit better for a little bit of time. But here's another part of the lie. Because you've been conditioned to believe that what comes at you in the form of words that you cannot see, just because you hear them, they fill your tank right back up again. So what happens is you end up repeating this cycle over and over and over to feel better. Check this out. This is what I discovered after 10 years of traveling around the world. And you know, what I've discovered is it doesn't matter if I'm in the United States, I'm in Germany, if I'm in England, if it doesn't matter if I'm in Scotland, France, anywhere in the world here, I've discovered this. It's the same program and the same process. Here's all the words that live outside my body. I didn't create them. They're not mine. Yep, I can hear them. They're traveling at 767 miles an hour, speed of sound. Can't see them. They got power though, and they're flowing towards my ear, and they go directly into my ear, into my storage tank. I've been taught that if I hear those words, they belong to me. Automatically, I've created a system to manage and control what it is I hear. I call it a storage tank. When my tank gets full, I call it stress. I get stressed out. In order to feel better, I release the energy in the same format to an individual that has the same process in place, just a different kind of tank, different tank. Their tank gets, and they go ahead and
Just basically cause a chain reaction.
Here's what I learned and what I've discovered. Just as much as I am responsible for the food that I choose to put in my mouth, to feed my body, because it's energy, to stay alive. Nobody's going to put the food in my mouth. I won't let that happen to me. I am also now responsible for the energy I accept in the form of words that I hear. Just because I hear that person talk to me does not mean their words are mine. What I discovered is I have the power to choose the energy that belongs to me. All of it, not just my food. Because if I didn't apply that theory to what I hear and see, I would be at risk for not feeling good. Or somebody force-feeding me negative energy.
Work your program. Don't let someone else's program work you.
This is about what are you going to discover about you. I also want you to understand as you're going through the 7-day, 7-night challenge that everything you see in here that's produced by another individual is a direct reflection of that human being at that moment in time. They created the words in their mind, and they use sound waves to project them towards you. They aren't yours. From this day forward, I do not want you to ignore another word or another action. I want you to understand how to process it so it does not become you. Oh, by the way, if you slip up and make a mistake on a challenge, you know, like, what's your name, ma'am? Libby. Like Libby and I are chilling out and hanging out together, and I slip up and I make a mistake. And oh, by the way, you will make a mistake. I'm still looking for the perfect human. I haven't found that person yet. When I find the perfect human, I'll let the girls on fire here know about that, because I'm sure that's going to want to be one of your segments, the perfect human segment. Yeah. Now, I slip up and make a mistake. I call Libby a rotten name at her expense to elevate my self-esteem. That's how it works every time garbage comes out of the hole in the front of my face. Here's what I do on the challenge. Watch. I'm sorry I said that. I make amends for my words the moment they come out of my mouth. That ain't hip and cool in 2009, is it? Nobody apologizes for this thing right then and there. Don't make any excuses. Get on with your program. You got 7 days to go.
You know, as I have 3-year-old twins, and
You have what now?
3-year-old twins.
3-year-old twins.
Yes,
You're not
boy
the
and girl.
octomom.
No,
Okay.
Lord, no. And I mean, we're going through right now how to treat people and trying to develop those altruistic kind of values of inclusion and acceptance and love. And I think most parents do that, but somewhere along elementary school age, something just, you know, I mean, we grew up kind of like, you know, kids are cruel and that's just the way it is. What do you think changes?
As a mother and a father or a parent, what I want you to begin to do now is I want you to start teaching your child about input. What do they do when they're given rotten words? In other words, you've taught them how to produce good things. You're not teaching them what to do when they receive bad things. You with me?
I am.
Ah, yeah. That's the opposite teaching, okay? Keep teaching them about being the good stuff. You with me?
Yeah.
But now, before they're assaulted and they're depressed or they're bummed out or they're hurt or they're crying, begin to teach them that this may happen. I don't know when or who's going to do this, but people are learning how to be negative, even though we're talking about being positive. Teach them what to do with what they're hearing. Okay? Rather than, and understand, teach them how to understand that whatever that human being is saying, it's really a reflection of them. And oh, yeah, you can hear their words, but it doesn't belong to you. If I tell you I love you, whose love is it? Yeah, it's my love. You just say, you might say, hey, thanks a lot, man, I love you back. You accepted it. If I tell you I hate you, whose hate is it? That goes for every word you hear from this day forward. None of those words based in energy belong to you unless you choose them for you. No one has the power to make you anything unless you let them. You got one too many piercings on you, there's something wrong with you. Well, somebody's already said it, ma'am. I'm just going to repeat what I think people say because I experience the same thing. Yeah, or the side of your head shaved, you know what I mean? Something's wrong with you, you should have hair down here, okay? And, sir, I don't know what your problem is, man, you better go get some Rogaine, brother. Now, and you better talk me into some kind of weight loss program. Of course, then we got the skinny dude, too skinny, they got an eating disorder. Think about it. We got people in boxes every time we walk down the street, we got them figured out. All of it's wrong.
I'm putting out good stuff, but negative stuff's still coming back to me. I think I've experienced it at times in my life when I thought, you know, if I'm just nice enough, then the bad stuff's going to stop happening. And then you wake up one day going, you know what, I should be getting the good stuff, and I'm not, and I'm angry about that.
Right. You're probably speaking from real experience, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, when you put the good stuff out, you're going to get the good stuff back. It doesn't mean the bad stuff's going to stop. We're living in a world right now that is full of negative energy constantly. Just drive your car down the roadway. What I've experienced here so far is nobody lets you in on your freeway system. I mean, it's death-defying to me, and there's no space between the cars, and you could signal and look like you're going to move in, and they still don't move their car. It's like this serious intimidation thing going on. And then all of a sudden, they back up just like 2 inches, and you got to kind of weave your car in there, and you're just praying that they don't hit nothing. Okay, that's negative energy. You with me? Okay, you have to understand that none of that belongs to you, and it doesn't mean you're not getting positive energy, but you're witnessing and seeing the negative full time. So now use your brain at that moment in time and begin to process that. None of that is you, and none of it belongs to you. None of it. Now, if somebody attacks me with a knife, that's a different story. I will not allow the blade of the knife to enter my body. I will defend myself. There. If somebody attacks me with a baseball bat or their fist, that's a whole other story. I will not allow that to enter my body. I will defend myself. If I defend myself and I knock the knife down on the floor, the difference is today I won't pick the knife up and stick it in the dude. I'll maybe run or get away. I will do whatever it takes to stop their action. But if you continually put the positive out, and it's not to get people to change, Because now it's not, you know what I mean? That's like giving for something in return. You got to give for nothing in return. So if you're giving to get something in return, then it's not going to work. So keep putting out positive energy, because that's who you are, and understand the negative you see and hear doesn't belong to you at all. I don't care if there's 1 million people out there that don't like how I look. That's 1 million people that have problems. None of them are mine.
How can I make people get the same message? Because if they don't get it now, they're just going to go on throughout their lives and dish it out.
Good question. For the rest of your life, every day, it's one human at a time. Do me a favor. You learn the process. You execute that for you. I don't care what they do. Just by you changing how you operate around that will affect them. I'm in Nashville because of that. Because they said, wow, I like what he's doing. That sounds like really cool stuff. Scary guy, how'd you like to come to Nashville? It works like that in the neighborhood. It works like that in the school. People are attracted to that. I haven't found one human being.
And you were in Scotland.
Yeah.
You were in Scotland.
I haven't found one human being, check this out, that does not want to do this differently. And I have worked with homeless, check it out, psychopaths, people in jail. I don't care how old they are, rich, poor, shape, it doesn't matter. Guess what? They all have one need in common. Does everybody know what it is? Anybody know what the need is?
To be loved?
Yeah, that's it. It's how we get there. Everything I've just told you over the last 30 minutes, guess what? Is a direct reflection of me. All of it. Every word that came out of my mouth is about me. You got a choice. You could pick what you like, and you can throw the rest away. That's what you're doing right now in your self-talk, in your mind, where you create your world peace. Teach your children that. Well, thanks for coming in, you guys. Remember now, you're on a 7-day, 7-night challenge. You got to get your 16 hugs a day. You have to ask permission. Remember, you got the power to choose everything you see and hear. You got to choose it just like food. If you're into your brain and you're into some kind of negative energy about yourself, look in the mirror and start asking yourself questions about where did all that come from. You must have learned it somewhere. You weren't born that way. See you guys again.